Is your money working as hard as it could be for you, or is it just sitting there, collecting dust? That's a question I want us to really dig into today, because it gets to the heart of something fundamental in personal finance: how you choose to invest your hard-earned cash. We're not just talking about throwing darts at a stock market board and hoping for the best. No, we're talking about strategy, philosophy, and ultimately, what approach is most likely to help you achieve your financial goals. For centuries, people have wrestled with the best way to grow their wealth. From merchants venturing across continents with goods to early industrialists funding grand factories, the idea of deploying capital for a return is as old as civilization itself. But the modern investment landscape, with its dizzying array of stocks, bonds, funds, and derivatives, can feel overwhelming. It's a jungle out there, and without a map, it's easy to get lost, or worse, to get eaten alive by fees and poor decisions. Today, we're going to demystify two of the most prevalent and often debated investment approaches: passive investing and active investing. Think of them as two different paths to the same destination, financial growth, but with vastly different terrain, speed limits, and even scenery along the way. And to help us truly understand these paths, we're going to invoke the spirit of one of history's greatest minds, Sir Isaac Newton. Now, you might be thinking, Newton? The guy with the apple and gravity? What does he have to do with my stock portfolio? Bear with me. Newton wasn't just a physicist and mathematician, he was also a man deeply interested in the workings of the world, including finance. In fact, he famously lost a substantial sum in the South Sea Bubble, a speculative frenzy that serves as a cautionary tale even today. So, while he might not have invented the concepts of passive or active investing, his principles of logic, observation, and understanding of fundamental forces can offer incredibly valuable insights into these modern strategies. Let's start with a foundational principle that Newton would appreciate: the idea of inertia. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. How does this apply to investing? Well, in the context of passive investing, it's about letting the market's natural momentum work for you. Passive investing, the Newtonian law of inertia. Imagine a vast ocean, with currents constantly shifting and moving. Passive investing, at its core, is about setting your sails and letting these powerful market currents carry your ship forward. You're not trying to outsmart the ocean, predict every wave, or navigate around every single ripple. Instead, you're betting on the long-term upward trend of the overall market. The primary vehicle for passive investing is often an index fund or an exchange-traded fund, ETF. These funds don't have a team of highly paid managers constantly researching individual stocks. Instead, they simply aim to replicate the performance of a specific market index, like the S&P 500. If the S&P 500 goes up, your fund goes up by roughly the same amount. If it goes down, your fund goes down. Think of it like this: if Newton were building an investment portfolio, and he believed in the inherent, long-term upward trajectory of human innovation and economic growth, he might simply invest in a fund that holds a tiny piece of every major company. He wouldn't spend his days poring over company balance sheets, he'd be focused on universal laws. The beauty of passive investing lies in its simplicity and its cost-effectiveness. Because there's no active management, the fees associated with these funds are significantly lower than actively managed funds. Over decades, even small differences in fees can compound into substantial sums, eroding your returns. This low-cost approach is a significant advantage. Another advantage, directly related to Newton's principles, is diversification. By investing in an entire index, you're instantly diversified across hundreds or even thousands of companies, different sectors, and sometimes even different geographies. This spreads your risk, meaning that the poor performance of any single company or industry won't decimate your entire portfolio. It's like having a vast ecosystem rather than relying on the health of just one species. Furthermore, passive investing embraces the idea that consistently beating the market is incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for most investors over the long term. This aligns with Newton's understanding of complex systems. Predicting the exact movement of countless individual particles, or stocks, is an overwhelming task. Instead, you trust the collective wisdom and momentum of the entire system. However, passive investing isn't without its caveats. While it aims to capture market returns, it also means you will never outperform the market. If the market has a bad year, so will your passive investments. You're along for the ride, for better or worse. It also relies on the fundamental belief that markets are, to a large extent, efficient, meaning that all available information is already reflected in stock prices, making it hard for individual investors to consistently find undervalued assets. Active investing, the unbalanced force. Now, let's shift our focus to active investing. If passive investing is about letting inertia carry you, active investing is about applying an unbalanced force to try and achieve a different, hopefully superior, outcome. Active investors, or the fund managers they employ, believe they can consistently outperform the market by actively making decisions about which securities to buy and sell, and when. Imagine our ocean again. An active investor isn't content to just drift with the currents. They believe they have a superior understanding of weather patterns, tidal shifts, and hidden reefs. They're constantly adjusting their sails, dropping anchor in promising coves, and charting new courses to reach their destination faster or more efficiently than the general flow. This involves extensive research, poring over financial statements, analyzing industry trends, assessing management teams, and even trying to predict macroeconomic shifts. The goal is to identify undervalued stocks that are poised for growth or overvalued stocks that are likely to decline. It's about stock picking, market timing, and often, a high degree of conviction in one's own analysis. If Newton were an active investor, he wouldn't just observe the apple falling, he'd be trying to figure out which specific apple tree consistently produces the biggest, juiciest apples, and then he'd buy shares in that particular orchard. He'd be looking for the anomalies, the exceptions to the rule, the opportunities where his superior insight could yield extraordinary results. The potential upside of active investing is, of course, the possibility of outperforming the market. If an active manager truly possesses superior skill and insight, they can generate higher returns than a passive index fund. This is the allure, the promise of exceptional gains that drives many investors to choose this path. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.